Welcome back, guys. This is the part 2 of the heater core and blend door replacement, and well, I guess let's get into it. Well, I got it all cleaned up now, and we're just gonna put it together because now I got the original these blend doors are already in here, but because these ones I got them sitting on their little pegs in the cleaned up bottom, and basically all there is to do in this back together is line up these couple of holes on the top here, and you may have to stick your finger inside, but once you get this that wasn't very smart. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, get that thing fed back to the hole. And good. She's back together again. Now we have that door working. And we have that door working. I just got to put the screws back in here. And this other door on this here side works. And now the one that was broken before, now I've got a working blend door. So I'm going to put this thing back together. I'm going to put the vacuum lines back on and these vacuum pots back on, and see how it goes. And I may have to put some zip ties because it kind of broke some of those little Christmas trees that held the vacuum lines in place, but that's not a big deal. And otherwise, all these things that hold these things together, there you got little spring clips on them, and you line up with the different pins, and like this here one, you'll have little special slots in them, so you gotta put them back on, but there's a little tab on the inside. You take a little pick and just pull it off, and then you can slip it out. But anyways, I'm gonna put the screws back in and start reassembling this thing. Well, I got the screws back in around the perimeter now, and the doors are functioning properly. So now I'm going to put and don't forget that little screw that goes in the back here. So now I'm going to kind of put the vacuum connection back on, being the fact that the other one didn't. That's okay. That was a kind of little bit of a difference. The other one had 2 screw holes. This one's only got one and a little pin on there, an extra pin instead, but that's okay. You just gotta cut your own threads here, but just to hold this vacuum connection that hooks up to your heater control unit. But yeah, otherwise, I guess one screw is going to work just fine. And then, I guess I'll see if these here. I'm thinking I'll have to cut these off. For the time being, I'll just stick these here Christmas trees in. Oh, that one's going to stay. And apparently that one's going to stay. Well, that's good. But this here one may not. Well, we'll see. From there, now just a matter of, in a case like this here one, just make sure my connections are, this one's got, see which has a better fit on here. Okay, apparently that one doesn't fit this one. I'd have to use the vacuum pot off the other one. But this is the vacuum pot off of here, so because they've got their little tiny slot in here, and where your clip is, there's a little bump on there, and that just snaps on there, just locks on. And when you take these here blend doors off, or these vacuum pots rather, you got to stick a little pick under for the back side, and you got to pry this little clip back to unlock it off this here thing. So now you just hook that on there, push it closed, and it just locks into place. And now in there, just connects on there. So that blend door is now connected. This one is for the servo on the top here, which that one is pretty straightforward. Just got to line it up in the correct spot so it falls into place. Actually, I can't put it on until after I put the heater core in, because otherwise you can't put this plate in because it kind of covers it in, so that'll have to come later. But we'll go to the other side here and figure out which one of these things I'm going to use. I'll probably use the newer style, and yep, this is here one that goes on that. However, that won't fit in there. Hold on, I want to see if my other one is going to fit. Yeah, there's some slight differences, like this here one, it's got a bigger hole in this here one, whereas this one is a little smaller for the different style of pins to fit on there. There's little clips on there which are real pain. They're just little push clips, and yeah, sometimes they bind up, so I'm not sure which is better, the heavier portion, because I've had some of those tabs break off. So I think I'll use the newer version of this, I guess. And make sure it's in the right position. And these little spring clips on here, they have to go on either side of this here tab, because otherwise it's not gonna. And you just push it on until it locks, and now it's spring loaded either direction. So now I can just sort of snap this here into place, lock it in, and so now that there is done. And let's see. Let's see which one of these I'm going to use here for my other pot on the bottom. Oop, I'm going to have to use the one with the pin. So I think these are slightly different again too. Well, I'm not sure which is a better system here for this one here, but yeah, this other clip goes on the top there. Okay. Probably already put that clip on there, but so yeah, this other one, I'm just making sure that the vacuum lines are pointed in the same position. But yeah, just gotta slightly it's kind of this one is a little smaller. somehow or another. Oh, there's my other, nope, it's a different one. Just got to make sure I got the right tab in there, because they're all kind of specific to their sizes. Well, I guess I'll just use the one that I had, and it just locks back on there. So I guess that works, because it doesn't really matter which one of these I use. They both got the same vacuum ports, so at least I'll have a spare for... I've got a couple of these Jimmys around, so now just gotta set that on there, lock that into place, and that little plastic clip, or metal clip that goes on here, just kind of push it on. Put it on too terrible. I'll put on a little bit tighter than that so it doesn't try to push away from the end there. Because the more it wants to twist, the more likely it is to break. So basically, this here vacuum line, it only fits on one way. And in this other one, it drops down to this little hole, because that goes to your vacuum connection under the dash. So that way when you, I guess I should have put it underneath there. That Christmas tree's got to fit in there. There. Now this here goes to the other vacuum line underneath the dash. This here longer one we'll just tuck up underneath here and connect up on the back side here, and this one, yellow one, goes on there. And that's pretty much all back. This part's all back together again. So now I gotta get myself some, because the new heater core does not come with the foam weather strip to seal it around the heater core and keep it from vibrating. So I got some window weather strip. I'm just gonna some foam sticky stuff and put it around it, because the other one was all saturated with antifreeze. So okay, I guess that's where we're gonna leave you here for tonight. And so I gotta make up the little weather strip pieces to fit that heater core in, and then I'll slide it in and put these pieces back in, and it'll be pretty much ready for installation. So I hope this is kind of helping somebody that ever has to get these things apart. Alrighty, we'll see you in a while then, I guess. Alright guys, so I'm gonna try to test these blend doors now. I just kind of connected the dash vacuum lines from the control panel back up to the heater box, and I hooked up a little vacuum pump on the line that goes to the engine vacuum. And so we'll try the different functions. I got it on defrost now, and we'll just pump this thing up and we'll see what's happening here. So this here damper there is pulling back, and this one right here pulls it all the way down. So it's in a defrost mode now, and it's also closing up this here back vent that goes to your dash vents. So now I'm gonna switch it over to the blend where you got defrost and floor. And now it pulled this here one up. So now it's gonna kind of pull it halfway up. So now it's got a combination of floor and defrost. And that there door is open. And now we'll just put it through straight heat. And we'll pump it up the other way now. So that there door still opens in there. That one closes. And this here one closes for the defrost. So now it's on straight floor heat. And now we'll put it on dash vents. I won't worry about testing. If it works on all these functions, it'll work on AC. So now, when you pump this here up, whoops, my vacuum line. Hold on a sec. I'm just gonna set you down here for a sec. My vacuum line kind of came unhooked. Okay, we'll try this here again. We'll start pumping it up. This here door closes. That door closes. And this one for the vents, or the dash vents, opens wide open. And if I release the vacuum, it should kind of everything kind of self-center again. Sort of. There, if I release the vacuum, then actually if I turn the switch to a different position, it'll release some of the doors. So that one's closed now, and they're kind of halfway in between. And we got the new heater core here. Here's the old one. And of course the new one does not come with any foam strip, so I just took some weather strip. Just more to seal, to make sure the air goes through the heater core, not around it, and keeps it from vibrating and wearing a hole in it. So I just wrapped it with some weather strip to make it somewhat similar thickness. But yeah, this here one, the seam is split right along in here, and you can see it just saturated everything. But yeah, so now we're gonna try to put this heater core in here. And yep, it looks like it's gonna fit in there, kinda. Doesn't want to go down all the way. Oh, there we go. These pipes don't exactly line up. You got to kind of squeeze them down. And I got to find my other little pieces that kind of fit back in here. And put my little foam part back on here. Oh, great. It's not going to work. Hold on, I'll just bring it back here in a sec. Okay, I kind of wrestled it in there, a little foam strip on there. And this is why you can't get the heater core out any other way, because now, whoops, I hit a wrong button there. So now he's got to basically put the two screws in here and get it kind of situated back in its place here. And that seals up the heater core box now. So after this, it's pretty much ready to install. This electronic temperature controller. Like, I'm not 100% certain, like, even though I tested it before I disconnected the battery, I'm just gonna hook the thing up here. It's got to line up the door for this here motor. And yeah, I'll just have to go find the screws for it and screw this thing down. And well, if all else fails, if it doesn't work, I do have another one available. So otherwise, now it's pretty much ready for installation. I'll disconnect this here from the dash and finish blowing the dust out of all the ductwork in the dash. And then I'll get this box installed. Okay, I guess I'm going to try to install this heater box now. Let's see if I can do this without shaking the camera, because I got you guys sitting up on the seat here. But we'll see what we can do here. So this thing's got to line up with this ductwork on the floor here. So this could be a little bit of a challenge. There's not quite enough room in here for me. It's a whole lot easier said than done, I'll tell you. See if I can't see this down from underneath here. Hold on a second, I'll grab another flashlight. Okay, let's try this again. Well, I'm not sure what's going on here, but I can't get it to slide back into the... Oh, there we go. I'm going to try to pull this carpet back a little bit. Yep, I think I finally got it slid into that hole there. Now we just got to get this one, the heater hoses, or the sure what's blocking me here. Well, looks like I'm in there. Well, I'm not exactly 100% sure what is going on there, because I just can't seem to get it low enough to get my heater core tubes back through the hole. I gotta drop it down another half an inch yet. Ow! That would be a finger. Now, see if I can't get that stud to drop down a little bit to get it through the hole. There we go. Now we're back in. Oh! It'll stay there now, and I'll start putting some of these bolts back in. I'll get this one started, but I'm going to probably put a little bit of never seats because some of these bolts are a little stiff getting out. But otherwise, I got one bolt on this side, and then of course, if you go back in the video, you'll see where I pointed out all the other spots where there's screws and whatnot. So otherwise it's pretty much the reverse, and I'll go and fight with all these screws, and I'll bring you back when it gets time to start putting the dash back in or get it connected back up. After putting this heater box back in, I came to realize it would have been a lot simpler with the 3 studs that are the one in the back here. There's one here and the 2 that went down at the bottom here. I came to realize, don't take the bolts right off, on the nuts right off. Just loosen it off and then use your E-Torx socket to turn these studs out. Because then they won't hang up and just leave them loose in the firewall. However, the screw that did go in here has to come out, and the one that's inside has to come out. However, like that one screw, right down there, has to come out completely, but the one that's down inside here, on this here particular model, you got your resistor pack in here, but on the 2000 that I got the blend doors out of, did not have that hole there to access that bolt, because it has climate control, which would have had it up front here. And in order for me to get that bolt or that screw out of there, normally you would have to cut that hole open, because the models will have a plate on there covering it up, so it'll be set up. But in that case, that one did not have one, so I just took a hole saw and I cut a hole to access that one, and then I had to drill a hole in here because I couldn't get a big enough hole in there to actually access it. So that's just kind of fair warning. If it's a newer model, like that was a 2000 I got off, does not have that access hole. And the only other way that you can get that screw out, you'd have to pull your whole fender assembly off and inner wheel well, your AC, and then you got to remove your whole AC evaporator out of it in order to get that screw out. So then the choice is kind of yours to basically make an access hole and put a cap over top of it, seal it down, and it'll be fine, because otherwise that's a whole bunch more can of worms you don't want to get into to be able to get at that one screw. I hope that kind of helps. So just kind of a little bit of an oversight I've been kind of pondering overnight there on that one, which by leaving those studs in, like that one in the back, just loosen it off, but use the E-Torx and thread it away. Now you don't have those long studs holding you up trying to get it all back together. Hopefully that kind of helps in that process. And I'm just about ready to put the dash back in. So I'll get back when I kind of get it set into place. It'll be a two-handed operation there. Well guys, it's been a few days since I was working on this thing, and I just set the dash into place. And it just sits on those pivot pins when you guys took it apart, or when I took it apart, it just tilts forward. And right now I just got one screw up on the top of the dash, just holding it and tilted up. And I plugged in this here wiring harness and airbag plug and vacuum lines for the heater controls. And I already got this module underneath the dash put in, and now it's just a matter of just plugging these things back in here, which is pretty basic. It's a little bit of a fight to get that bracket back. Well, not so much the bracket, but to put that module back into the bracket, because these little tabs, you don't try not to break them, otherwise I guess worst comes to worst, you zip lock it. Tighten the steering column back up, and this is that other plug in the wiring harness that has to be just kind of in the console, or in the corner of the dash here. And you just gotta just plug that thing in, and it just gotta kind of fight with it here a little bit, but it just tucks into and kind of clips onto here. Well, that didn't work out as well as planned. There. Got her into place now. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to plug in the instrument cluster. And like I've been spending the last few days fighting with the block heater on this thing, because it's like trying to use a pair of chopsticks to get the thing out. Like, it's just such a tight fit. So I fought with that thing for a couple days because it was leaking anyway, and I figured I'll change the thermostat too while I was at it. But other than that, I'm just going to put the cluster back in here, and so I can hook up the battery again. And I want to just test that temperature control. And if that works, then I'll just button up the rest. Otherwise, it's pretty much straightforward. If you took it apart already, well, it's pretty much reverse of taking it all apart. So you've got to remember where everything goes back in. Like, got these plates to go in these corners here, and you got the little tabs up in there. So here's the bolt on there. But anyways, I'll bring it back once I get the cluster in, and I'm going to test that thing, and then I'll let you see what's going on after. All right, get back to you. Well, guys, I just connected up the battery just so I could test this blend door for the hot and cold, the temperature. And right now I can see it's on on the cold side, so it's going to force the air to go through that back hole there, as opposed to through the heater core. I'm just going to switch it over to hot and switch the dial over to hot, and I can hear the damper or the blend door opening up. And now if you look down there, you can see the blend door is over, closes up that spot and exposes the heater core. So the temperature thing is working properly. So I guess from here on, I'm just going to start buttoning things up. Okay, I may end up calling this a video. I may just bring you back once I got it all together, and we'll see how it goes here. It won't take long now. It's just pretty much straightforward. Just putting, all I got to do is just finish screwing down the instrument cluster and put the glove box back in, put the stereo back in, which is just one plug, and then the coax. And that's one thing with that coax, you had to make sure when you put the dash back together, you kind of, it tucks up underneath here. So you just have to make sure you just route the wires the way they were to begin with. Other than that, it's pretty much straightforward just to put these panels, the knee bolster back in place, and so there's a few more screws. Like now, it won't take long to get it all back together. Alrighty, I'll bring you back when it's all put together, and then I guess you'll see what it looks like, and that'll be it. Alrighty, we'll get back to you. Well guys, I got all these bottom panels all buttoned back up again, and I guess that's, we're gonna call her quits. Like, yeah, I didn't want to bore you guys with all the trivial stuff putting these little panels back in. If you take it off, well, you just put it back in the same way where you got them from. But yeah, otherwise this video's been going on long enough. But yeah, hopefully this kind of helped somebody out for getting those heater cores out of here and replacing them and dealing with those blend doors. But yeah, well, thanks for watching anyway, and if you like what you see, maybe subscribe. Well, thank you. Bye.